AM 96.3 FM, The Source.
Carolyn Baldwin is in the studio on Mardi Gras, the day before Valentine's Day. It's one of those double holiday
who put
weekend.
those two together?
Well, today's the day we fast, and tomorrow's the day.
Well, today's Fat Tuesday.
No, today's feast, and tomorrow's fast.
Right.
How are you going to fast on Valentine's Day?
That's what I mean. Who put those two together? And then putting Easter on
April Fool's Day.
Yeah, that's kind of I hid your Easter eggs.
Yeah, right. So how you doing?
I'm good. How are you today?
Good. I did you see the video I put on Facebook on your page?
Yeah.
About the flowers that look like
something,
birds and other things?
And the lips and all that.
Have you ever seen that before?
I've seen some of those plants. Some of those are simply orchids.
Do they always look like that, or is it just the angle, or is it an oddity?
It is an angle. It is, Dancing Lady Ginger, or Dancing Girl Ginger, got its name from the flower looking
that
like
makes
a
sense.
dancing girl.
Yeah.
And I think the other one was like a monkey face one, and that's where they gave the names from. It's hence the names of the plants. So some of them.
So some of them always look like that.
Yeah. I mean, they do always look at them, but you have to look like that. But you have to look at it. It's not something we look at.
Let me put it to you. I have something to tell you.
Yeah.
To me, I could see those images way better than I can see constellations. When I look in the sky at night, I don't see a bear. I don't see a guy with a sword. I don't see any of that stuff, or an arrow. I don't see any of that stuff.
No, well, because flowers are right there close, and unless you know where your constellations actually are, they're much further out there. But yeah, I mean, you can. Those, and I'm sure, and I ought to bring it up. Let me see if I didn't get this thing all the way booted up the other day. Where's my other stuff?
Where's your microphone?
I don't know where all my stuff is. Am I there? There I am.
There you are.
There I'm on. Oh, that's funny. Let's see. I don't know why everything's gone off my
It's not working?
page. It must have updated or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So now I just got to bring it up. But it was one of those pages that has some music behind. I think it had some music behind, didn't it? I don't remember now. But I mean, it's the pictures of flowers, and the flowers look like things sometimes you could say other than flowers, but it's the flower, not the whole plant. It's the flower.
And the first one looks just
like a pair of lips with bright red lipstick.
Right. And one of them looks like two dancing Russian clowns is why I think it looks like.
Yes, there was that one. Let's see if I can find. Let me see if I can find my.
I don't know if the plant is called the Dancing Russian Clowns.
No, I think it had I'm sure it has a different name on that.
But it's kind of amazing to see those things how much they look like. The ones that look like birds were like. Really remarkable.
It was a video from Fantastic Things.
Oh, okay.
And see, there's one. It looks like a dove.
With
its wings outspread. That looks like that's an orchid. This is an orchid here, and this is a fairly common orchid. That one with the lavender. There's the monkey face one. So if anybody's looking, you get the Fantastic Things. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it.
But if you go to your Facebook page,
if you go to my Facebook page, you look at Larry's post from yesterday in the skulls. There now that I've
that skull one that was cool. I thought they fixed that or something. That's really how it looks. Huh?
It's. I think that's a seed pod kind of thing. And again, that's probably some type of a picture. There's a dancing girl. Dove in there. So it is. It's they're pretty neat. I haven't seen the Russian ones yet, or did we pass them?
I can't really see your screen from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Russian dancing one, I'll point them out to when I see them. Nothing. What is that?
And that one looks like little babies in a. Oops.
Is that the Russian dancing one?
No, that's the lips.
Oh, that's the end of it. Okay.
But wait a minute. No,
anyway,
no.
It is a cool thing. Just the fact that you have a Facebook page to be
able to.
It's a companion piece, I guess, to the radio show.
And of course, we had Sunny had a different Sunny. Sunny is a bright sunny day. Sunny had her that her daffodils were coming up, and in the stores right now, you're finding tulips and daffodils and things like that planted in planters, and that's a good place for them. Enjoy them while you have them. Let them be spring. Maybe let them be a reminder of flowers you had in northern states, and just realize it does take a special effort to have those plants rebloom for us here in Central Florida. Now, this winter was possibly cold enough that if you'd have had them in the ground, that they might have come back up and will bloom for you. Most of our winters are not that cold, and even then, it was January. It was January was our worst this year. Yeah. This year, February not being February.
Not too bad.
Not knock wood so far. We're 12 days in or 13 days into it, and so let's hope we don't have anything. I haven't seen any bad weather coming up, except a little bit of rain. So maybe this year we're getting away with coming out of here lucky after that bad cold front. So it's I'm thinking spring might be here. Maybe I ought to look at a long range.
Today.
I think I could look at a long range forecast. I mean, we still have the look of wintertime where it's overcast and a lot more clouds and things like that.
But my yard looks like spring.
Oh, sure, yeah. The yards are looking like spring. Things are popping back up. The items with just twigs that are sticking up. You've got new growth coming from the bottom, and I would pretty well say you're probably safe on those sticks to get out there and trim those off. That they're not really protecting anything, unless if we were to have a cold spell, they might help hold a frost blanket up off of the new growth. So, take it, which way you would like to go with it. And let's see, my weather channel, there we go. My 10-day forecast, or I want to go out further than 10 days to see what we've got coming.
Yeah.
But, we're here. We are in the middle of February. Our last expected frost date is not for another month. Not till March the 15th. Which is hard to believe, isn't it, right now? It is. I mean, because we can, and there's a lot of people who will not plant their gardens until after Easter because of that possibility of one more cold snap. But it's still the 1st of April. It's past March. So,
are you ready for some phone calls?
Sure.
And if you would like to call, you need to know the number. It's 352-622-9622. If you want to call Carol Ann, just remember 622-WOCA and the area code 352. You'll be able to call Carol Ann. This is a full-hour show, so there's plenty of time to get your questions answered completely. Let's take our first phone call. Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Yes, good morning, Carol Ann and Larry.
Good morning.
According to the Weather Channel, we're going to be way above normal temperature-wise through the rest of the month of February. And I did hear thunder yesterday afternoon.
Ah, did you?
Yeah,
well, that could be.
There was a little thunder area not too far to the northwest of us that was moving away, but there was thunder there, so I think that's the third one, right?
That would be the third one if you heard that one. I guess I got a commercial on my. But that's a good thing. I'm going to try to see whether or not I can get a month out kind of weather thing here on the weather on the weather page, if it will, once I get past the commercial on the Weather Channel here, and see what we've got.
You always pointed out, it's going to be cooler in the west and warmer in the east, and not only that, but it's supposed to supposed to be drier, so let's hope for a little rain with the warmer weather.
And I know I work down there in the villages, and we had rain yesterday. Oops. Was that me?
No, that was
oh, okay, because I was going, wait a minute, I don't
Hugh, you still there?
Sound.
Yes, I'm still here.
All right, I thought you dropped off there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether or not it was something squeaked through. That we had quite a bit of rain yesterday afternoon, and I'm not sure if it rained up here. When I got home, it didn't look like it had rained at my house, but I could be mistaken that there was a little bit of shade.
Down towards Leesburg, they had an inch and a half, and over here in Silver Springs, just a little drizzle that way, just enough to water wet the roads,
Right. And that's I was going to say, no, in Lady Lake, we had, I'd probably say we had at least probably a quarter inch, and that, which is a good thing. I mean, it will help the lawns, it will help the landscapes, recover, and help to come up out of the cold. Even just now, we only have this little tiny patch of grass outside the studio here, and it's greening up. There's a few little brown patches in it, and that might have even been where there might have been a little bit of weeds or something that they may have treated for. But if once the grasses will start to come back on their own, the plants will start to come back on their own. And it's at that point is when you would start really beginning to do your full cleanup. Let it start to come out of that by itself. And I know some things they are starting to sprout back up. They are starting to come back to life.
Right. Yeah, the grasses are really greening up real nice. And boy, my ryegrass, once a week I got to give it a haircut.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and that ryegrass, because you are cutting it at that, it's actually nourishing your lawn underneath there. So as that lawn comes out, as the ryegrass begins to die off, your lawn, your turf underneath there is going to come back with a nice, healthy, should be a nice, healthy stand of grass.
Yeah, I'm going to probably oversee that area besides what I've got there, but I know I've got to wait for the soil to warm up.
Yeah, because you have Bahia, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and if it's a little too cool, I mean, that's going to take at least 28 days for it to germinate. So waiting a little bit, the ryegrass won't die off until we really are starting to get warm, which we've had enough cool in the evenings and stuff. It takes a while to actually heat all the way up to that 80 plus degrees that we've been getting the last couple of days. And so that's not going to die off right away. Boom, here we are, we're warm, it's going to die off. But when that does die off, that would be probably when I would put more seed down.
Yeah, we're probably talking late April or May.
And well, at least maybe the end of March, 1st of April. You should be warm enough to do. Yeah, you should be set at that point.
Well, it's going to come soon enough, and I think we've seen the last of our winter.
Let's hope so. I'm giving it my hopes at least that it is, because I'm starting to do things myself in the landscape, and I know everybody else is too.
Okay. Well, thank you. Take care.
All righty. Thank you. Have a great day now.
Okay.
Thank you, Hugh. Let me push a button and take a little break. We're up against the break. And remember, Carol Ann is here for a full hour, which means we have about 44 minutes or so left in this show. And before we go to the break, I want to tell you this, that we are giving away tickets to the Daytona 500 on tomorrow. We're going to give away 2 tickets to one person. It's the entire prize package, and it's only been a very short promotion. So the good news is one person will win 2 tickets to the Daytona 500.
Which is Sunday.
This coming Sunday is the race. Tomorrow's the day we pick the name. If you'd like your name in the box, you can call right now, 732-8000.
There you
732-8000. If somebody answers, you tell them your name, your phone number, and that you want to be in the box, or you want your name in the box.
Right.
You don't want to be in the box.
Yeah, that's a small box.
If you could fit in that box, we need to have a little slideshow going.
Right, yeah. We can make some money on that.
What else did I want to say?
So just make sure that you can make sure that you're going to be able to use the tickets on Sunday.
That's how
or that you can share them with somebody on Sunday. Yeah, don't win the tickets if you can't. Don't ask to win the tickets if you can't use them. I have to work on Sunday. I'm not going to try to win tickets.
Would you? This is not just a race, though. It's a big event.
Yeah, it is.
Rascal Flatts is going to do a show there. And,
cool.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. is, I guess, going to be the marshal, whatever that is.
Sure. Cool.
And it's just a big, huge event. So if you would like to be in the box. You can have your name in the box more than once. That's what I wanted to say.
Oh, okay.
So if you've already got your name in there, you want to
put your name in again, up your chances of winning?
The only rule is you can only call when we ask you to call.
Right.
And I'm asking you to call.
Call now.
And there are two ways we ask you. Once is live, like I'm doing now, and the other, there's a tape that Joe made that plays every now and then. When you hear that, that's also a good time to call.
A good time to call.
Okay?
There you go.
So again, the number 732-8000. We'll take a break. Be right back with Carol Ann. This is The Source, WOCA.
Hey, Tish, this email about Honey Baked Ham giving our listeners $20 off of a 9-pound ham just for mentioning WOCA. Is this right?
Yes. While supplies last, our listeners can save $20 off of a 9-pound or larger ham. All they have to do is tell them that they heard about it on WOCA.
Okay. Call Honey Baked Ham today, 861-0011, or stop by 12708 Southwest 27th Avenue, just behind Best Buy. Tell them you heard about the special on WOCA and save $20. But hurry in. This is a limited time offer.
In racing, there is no greater feeling. There is no greater history. There is no greater tradition than the Daytona 500. And this February 18th, there is no greater place to be as the Great American Race celebrates its 60th running. Last year sold out, so there is no greater time than now to guarantee your seats. Join us for the history-making 60th running of the Daytona 500. Sunday, February 18th. Guarantee your seats at 1-800-PIT-SHOP or Daytona500.com.
Come to the 5th Annual Habitat for Humanity Strawberry Festival on March 3rd, 2018 at the McPherson Government Complex. The festival goal is not only to have vendors, food, a car show, a kids zone, wag, wiggle, and walk, live entertainment on the main stage, a down-home pie eating contest, and all things strawberry, but to also raise funds to build a habitat home for a family in our community. Check out their website, habitatocala.org, and follow the link. The Habitat for Humanity Strawberry Festival is March 3rd from 8 to 6 p.m. Come early and enjoy the day.
In this moment, who has your back? Do you know the name of your insurance agent? Does your agent know your name? Or would you call a 1-800 number that connects you to who? Another state? Another country? Get a local independent insurance agent with Auto Owners Insurance. Someone you can call when bad stuff happens. In this moment, get an agent who will protect you in that moment. Visit George Mangan Insurance in Ocala today at manganinsurance.com. So yeah, I walked away to microwave my coffee, and it just worked out that the music came on at a perfect time. That's good.
Hey, at least we didn't have dead air.
Good. Have you ever gone to Mardi Gras? Have you ever done this?
No, I've never been to Mardi Gras. I mean, I've been to the Leesburg one, which was just a little local thing, which was fun. Yeah.
So one of the traditions I had never heard about is the golden coconut, and apparently. I mean, it's plant related, isn't it?
I guess so.
You know, they have floats in this parade, right. And so they all throw beads or other things like doubloons.
Right.
Well, there's one float, and they throw coconuts.
Ouch!
I know.
Yeah, you better. That's not nice.
And one of them is golden. They paint.
Okay,
it's not
they
really
paint
gold.
one. Right, they paint one gold.
Right, and if you get the golden one, then you're lucky or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what happens. It's just you're lucky.
Oh, okay. So are they hollow? I mean, have they been drained or something?
Interesting that you ask. It said in the beginning.
Maybe there's a prize. Maybe there's something inside it.
That would be the next thing. But it said that in the beginning they just threw coconuts, and then the city council or something said,
that hurts. Ow!
You gotta hollow them out and make them not so heavy. So
a little harder to throw, but you go to the party shop and you buy the two halves and you glue them back together. That way. You could put a prize in those. But just to go back to what we were talking about with the weather, but that's just watch out for the coconuts. Watch for flying coconuts. That going through until the 24th, we are actually we're above normal. 25th, we get down below 80. 27th, we're down about 74. So it's back down to something that would be considered a little more seasonal. Trying to see if I can get a month. My laptop died. I knew I should have charged.
Oh no!
I knew I should have charged
it.
It's got one of them funky cords with the round. So it's
because we have an outlet right here.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't bring my cord with me, so I'm good. Okay. Yeah, no, it'll be all right. I have my phone, but I mean, to get us 15 days out, we may end up with a little more seasonal weather. Over the next few weeks after, this just happens to be a little bit of a warm front. So do watch those first couple weeks of March. But like I said, it's one of those things, if you're really getting tired of the dead sticks when you've got new growth coming up, the only benefit at this point, I think, of leaving the dead sticks, because they're now devoid of leaves and things like that, would be to hold a frost blanket off of the top of your plants should we need it in the next month. So I would weigh it that way. Don't run out there and start fertilizing and things like that. But you can start preparations. I mean, what better time? I mean, here it is. It's tax time. Where whoever's getting a refund, you start to think about what kind of little project you're going to do in the garden. So this is a good time to draw it out. Go into the stores, or and things like that. Take you an estimator with you or something like that, or get your measurements and stuff. Somebody in the store should be able to help you estimate how many blocks it would take to do your project. If you're looking at a new patio or a new planting bed, new fireplace to sit and enjoy in your garden space, in your landscape space, for entertaining purposes and that kind of stuff. What better time of year to start thinking of that, because it's not too hot yet to begin to work on that. I mean, you could start, if you're going to put a new planting bed in, maybe you don't want to plant yet because you're concerned about the weather, but it would work to kill off the grass. You would be able to treat, or it's not too hot if you insist on shoveling it out and not using an herbicide on it. But if you're going to use an herbicide, you're still looking at, a couple weeks before you could plant. So one way or the other, you can do on that, but not a bad time to get started on those kind of projects. Everybody's probably gotten most of their vegetable starts into their little pots. They might be starting to come up. Get them as much light as you can. If you don't have a grow lamp, I would get them if you've got a sunny area. I wouldn't put them in a window in the sun, only because the window glass can intensify those rays and may burn them. But if you've got an area outside that's maybe partly sunny, where they're getting natural light and things like that, it might be a benefit on that. So, if you got those, and even your summer, even your warm season annuals, you got your, marigolds to put out in the garden. Some of the winter annuals are starting to fade out, or they're becoming unavailable because, they will be fading out in the garden.
I have a question to ask you.
Yeah.
When you use herbicides on like a flower garden, not to kill the flowers, but to kill
the weeds.
I mean, you're not going to eat those flowers. If you use an herbicide on weeds in a vegetable garden, does the herbicide contaminate the vegetable in any way? Does it taste different or provide?
No, because you're not going to spray that vegetable. And like I said, if you were doing one, say you were going to decide to start a small vegetable garden, say just a square foot garden, you're going to do a little 4 foot by 4 foot, and you measure it out, and you want to spray your favorite non-name brand, name brand, whatever, weed and grass killer, mark it all out, spray it all down. Usually you're going to wait about 10 days and you'll spray whatever else is green, still let that die. And you're probably going to even shovel some of that out of there just so that you've got, something to work with, because your herbicides, unless it's something with an extended control, don't last once they hit soil.
Okay. Now, I have a reason sort of kind of for asking you.
Okay.
There was a guy who does it's a network show on Saturday, and I was listening to him talk. And he's a farmer. He's a dairy farmer, but he was talking to another guy who does vegetable farming. Oh, my gosh, I better be quick. He was saying that the best tasting food is a little more expensive because it's organic, and it's the tomato that your grandmother used to eat. And when you don't, if it's not, and he was saying that herbicides and other chemicals are
are affecting what the
are part of the reason why our tomatoes don't taste like tomatoes.
And I think it's just more
Unless
over
it's organic.
the varieties. If we need to go to the break, we can always come back and talk about that on the other side. Yeah.
Before we have less time, we have 30 seconds. Do we have something we give away?
We do have something to give away. Shall we give away the tickets to Live on Stage, The Giver? Begins February the 15th, runs to the 25th. It's a drama live on stage at the Ocala Civic Theater. That's all I've got if we're going to break.
I know. We have 2 tickets for that. And they were in the other day, the actors and the director. So it sounds like a really great play, but it sounds very serious. So,
okay.
If you would like those 2 tickets, you can call right now and we'll pick one winner and you will get those 2 tickets. We'll be right back with Carol Ann.
Fox News Radio. I'm Lillian Wu. The president tweeting, "It's a last chance to get DACA right." As a fight over immigration moves to the Senate floor today, Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer reiterating support for helping dreamers.
And we have long supported effective border security. Many Republicans are in the same boat. The only enemy here is overreach.
Calling for a more narrow focus, Senator Tom Cotton, who put out a proposal closely following the president's objectives, telling Fox and Friends.
Parents, remember, are the ones who made the choice to come here illegally with their minor children. They created the problem in the first place.
The president also touting his infrastructure plan in a tweet this morning. And a terror trial opens in a Swedish courtroom for the suspect in the Stockholm truck attack, which killed 5 people last year. Fox News. We report, you decide.
When hiring, you don't have time to waste. You need to get to a short list of qualified candidates fast. That's why you need Indeed.com. Daryl is hired with Indeed.
Using the site saves me a lot of time. It makes my job so much easier.
Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive dashboard. Your time is precious. Let Indeed help you get to your short list of qualified candidates. Post a job at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
Pros in the know start with Lowe's, because Lowe's has exclusive offers this week just for Pro customers. For 3 days only, get 5% off all purchases made in-store and online at lowesforpros.com. Or if you use your Lowe's Business Credit account, save 10%. That's 5% off all purchases and an extra 5% if you use your Lowe's Business Credit account. See the Pro Desk or lowesforpros.com for more details. Offers valid 2/13 through 2/15, subject to credit approval and can't be combined with other credit offers. Exclusions apply, U.S. only.
Hey Tish, this email about honey baked ham giving our listeners $20 off of a 9-pound ham just for mentioning WOCA, is this right?
Yes, while supplies last, our listeners can save $20 off of a 9-pound or larger ham. All they have to do is tell them that they heard about it on WOCA.
Okay, call Honey Baked Ham today, 861-0011, or stop by 12708 Southwest 27th Avenue, just behind Best Buy. Tell them you heard about the special on WOCA and save $20, but hurry in, this is a limited time offer.
In racing, there is no greater feeling. There is no greater history. There is no greater tradition than the Daytona 500. And this February 18th, there is no greater place to be as the Great American Race celebrates its 60th running. Last year sold out, so there is no greater time than now to guarantee your seats. Join us for the history-making 60th running of the Daytona 500. Sunday, February 18th. Guarantee your seats at 1-800-PIT-SHOP or Daytona500.com.
If you or a loved one is suffering with knee, shoulder, neck, back pain, or tennis elbow and would like to learn how to get out of pain, go to Regenetic.com. Then listen in on the first and third Thursday at 10 a.m. to the people that give you the regenerative medical solutions to your pain. Regenetic, first and third Thursdays, 10 a.m. here on WOCA 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. The Source, Regenetic.com. Tired of looking at stained carpets, dirty tile, or grout? Call Silverback Restoration, 414-5312. Make your flooring look great again. Stains, pet odors, allergies. Call Silverback Restoration, 414-5312. From serving our country to serving our community. Silverback Restoration, 414-5312. Residential and commercial. Their work is guaranteed along with your satisfaction. Check their website, silverbackrestoration.com.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's return to Carol Ann Baldwin. In the Garden with Carol Ann is the name of the show. The phone number to talk to Carol Ann, whether it's a question or you just want to share notes about gardening, the number is 622-9622. And don't forget, there's a companion Facebook page to go with this show, and it's called In the Garden. And that's there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right.
And
to ask a question, just ask to join.
Just to join,
and then just ask to join, and put you on. I don't send anything out. It's just whatever I do, I post just on the page. If you have,
And you always tell people don't sell anything, but you also don't sell anything. Just so people know.
No, I don't sell anything. I may advertise Master Gardener programs and things like that, or UF items, but that's not selling.
Yeah.
So, but we were talking right before we went to the break. You were talking about a program that you were listening to that was talking about the best tasting foods. We don't want to pay more for the best.
Right.
We might do it for a car. We might do it for clothing. We might do it for different things, appliances and stuff like that. But we don't seem to want to do it for food.
We get the cheapest tomato.
We get the cheapest tomato. We don't hunt out the thing. And you look at fast food. The salad, the one that's better for you, might be the salad, but it costs more than the burger and fries. Kind of thing that. But when it comes to the growing of the produce, I'm sure the organic produce, it may have some better flavor. I don't know. I've never done a here. This is out of the grocery store. This is locally grown, but not necessarily organic. This is strictly organic from few states away. This is local organic. That's about the only way you could truly say. But old school. The tomato that your grandmother grew was an heirloom tomato. She got out there and she threw the dishwater.
But she didn't call it that.
No, well, she may have.
Oh, heirloom. She would have used the word heirloom
because it came from her grandmother.
Oh, okay.
So it came passed down from generation to generation, and there's nothing wrong with those. They just don't have necessarily a reliable disease resistance and things like that. So if you have a problem one year, it might wipe out quite a bit. But then again, on some of the hybrids, you may end up with a disease issue as well, or a pest issue. But you got to remember, Grandma may have just done she's just doing her family. Mm-hmm. She wasn't doing feeding a nation, or anything like that. And so I think on that kind of thing, it's the commercial stuff. Yeah, and I'm sure that some of the soils are actually depleted, and so the synthetic fertilizers just aren't adding those minerals and things like that back in the soil that were naturally occurring. And like I said, New Jersey was the garden state. You had the Jersey tomato, very good tasting tomato, a thick-skinned tomato, actually. But a great tomato. Georgia, you've got the Vidalia onion. I can grow a Vidalia onion here. I can't call it a Vidalia onion because I'm not in Vidalia, Georgia. And it's not going to be quite as sweet as the one coming out of Georgia because of the soil. And it's because of the minerals and things like that that are present in that soil. And you almost have to put back in what is locally grown. Like, say, the tops of the green onions, the green tops of the onions, say that the correct direction, back into that soil to actually put those minerals back in that were removed from that plant. So some of the the tomatoes you buy in the supermarket and things like that, you might find some that aren't the highest quality, basing it upon your location and where they have to come from. Hothouse tomatoes, I mean, we were getting, and I'm not sure if they're in the market as much anymore, but possibly I don't know when we're actually out of season for tomatoes in the state of Florida. But you get the hothouse ones from like Holland. I want to say there was a Holland tomato, and they're usually the little cluster tomatoes and things like that. They may not have the best flavor, but that they're filling nutritionally. They've got I'm thinking they're not devoid of nutrition, I guess is what I'm saying.
There was another story. I'm sorry, I wasn't. I was listening, but trying to look for the story. There was a story about roses. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day,
right?
And there was this story. Can I read this to you?
Sure.
Just to get your comment on it. Americans' affinity for cheaper Valentine's Day gifts And U.S. trade deals from the 90s designed to encourage Colombia to ship something other than cocaine has stifled America's rose production and made Colombia a flower power.
Yeah.
So here it is. Here's the gist of it, the point. American flower producers have seen a 95% drop in rose production, 545 million roses. Now it's less than 30 million annually because the slack has been taken up by the nation of Colombia.
Yeah.
They produce our roses.
They produce the roses for the bouquets and things like that. Yes, they're a huge rose exporter. But if you look around, back. Think about,
and it's the money
part of it's the money. It's also demand. People want them. They want them more than just Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, and things like that. Back in the day, you didn't walk into. I guess when I was a kid, you had Kmart, and have a floral department.
That's true.
You had a garden center where you might grow your own rose bush, but you didn't buy roses in there. You didn't walk into the grocery store to pick up a bouquet of roses on your way home from work.
Okay.
You had to go through a florist, and roses were very expensive.
Still are.
Well, they are, but if you drive down right now, if somebody did any importing in, I'm seeing signs for $10 bouquets, which include roses. I won't say it's a dozen roses. I'm not sure. I haven't stopped to look, but that these are bouquets containing, they're saying roses $9.99. Oh, that's unheard of.
And so when you go to the grocery store or Walmart or whatever, and you pick up,
you're picking up a couple roses because you want to, make your girlfriend's day or your spouse's day, or you pick up a bouquet and you just because you love roses for yourself on any given day, that they're available and they're reasonably priced. Kind of thing versus having to go through a florist to send flowers to someone and have them, or pick them up.
I feel bad for the florists.
But the florists still have theirs because who's going to deliver? You work in one side of town, your spouse, girlfriend, loved one is on the other side of town, and you want to impress her at the office. So you're going to have that florist deliver those roses to her office and make her feel better. Make her feel special. But
I guess the commonality between the rose story and the guy on Saturday was the dollar amount. It seems like the cheaper is where we always go. We do, and I don't think it's. I don't know if it's as Americans. I don't know how people shop abroad. We shop the big superstores and grocery stores and buy the big value. If I can buy, I'm not going to buy the little 20-ounce box of cereal when I can buy the 20-pound box of cereal, and I don't have to go back to the grocery store for months. It's one of those kind of things. Convenience and price, and there's less packaging, so maybe it does cost less per pound. But it's. I think you're right, though, that we do have a tendency that on our food, something we need to have, that we do pick the bottom of the line many times. And that might
be a cut of meat. You're not going to go out on a regular basis and buy that $8.99 cut of beef. We're going to step down to the ground meat that's $4.69.
So let me ask you something, because there was one other thing the guy said on Saturday. He is a dairy farmer, and he, in addition to selling milk, sells cow manure.
Okay.
I guess a lot of people.
Right. Yeah, the dairy industry.
So he's got a little business on the side, and he will then he'll give it away sometimes, whatever.
Right.
And he'll say some of his customers grow tomatoes, and that's always the vegetable that came up.
Right.
And he said, they're delicious. He says, I attribute it to the fact that they're using my cow manure. And
it is adding nutrition, and of course, if you've got Dairy A right here, and it's producing the manure, and you're a local garden not far away, it's that whole same thing of eating close to home. You're bringing a locally produced product, the manure, into your home garden, your local, and growing your tomatoes. It's different, than something of mass produced from elsewhere. kind of thing, I guess, is where it all comes back to more local. The organic grower, even of today, he can grow enough. I mean, I think it would be very difficult to try to have a mass, not garden, farm on produce that was all strictly organic.
Yeah, that would seem hard.
To try to supply more than just, of what the demand is in a whole community, let alone a state, a region, a nation, kind of thing.
I have a thought, and I want to hear your feedback on this. It seems like tomatoes is always the thing people will talk about. So maybe the solution would be, as consumers, we get our tomatoes from the local farmer.
Right.
And we get our lettuce and everything from the grocery store. But
or again, I mean, you find it if you can, around here, you're not generally going to grow an iceberg lettuce, but you can grow some wonderful Bibb lettuce and things like that, the loose head lettuces that you can grow in your backyard, or you can grow, and you can grow them inexpensively. And you should be able to get them farmers market wise and things like that, relatively not inexpensive, but price comparable as to something you might buy in a supermarket.
We are at the next break. Can you believe it? It's a fast-moving morning.
It sure is.
We are hoping that you will call in. We are inviting you to call in. We have to take a break right now, but the phone number is 622-9622. Maybe you want to talk about your tomatoes.
Yeah, it's true. Or maybe if you call in during the break, you want a couple tickets, couple gift certificates to Brick City Bicycles. We got some $25 gift certificates here. So if you want to call in during the break, we can take your name and you can get a couple gift certificates.
All right, and sticking on the theme of plants, we have the Strawberry Festival to promote right now.
That's true.
So we'll be right back.
All right.
Come to the 5th Annual Habitat for Humanity Strawberry Festival on March 3rd, 2018 at the McPherson Government Complex. The festival goal is not only to have vendors, food, a car show, a kids zone, wag, wiggle, and walk, live entertainment on the main stage, a down-home pie-eating contest, and all things strawberry, but to also raise funds to build a habitat home for a family in our community. Check out their website, habitatocala.org, and follow the link. The Habitat for Humanity Strawberry Festival is March 3rd from 8 to 6 p.m. Come early and enjoy the day.
Hey Tish, this email about honey baked ham giving our listeners $20 off of a 9-pound ham just for mentioning WOCA, is this right?
Yes, while supplies last, our listeners can save $20 off of a 9-pound or larger ham. All they have to do is tell them that they heard about it on WOCA.
Okay, call Honey Baked Ham today, 861-0011, or stop by 12708 Southwest 27th Avenue, just behind Best Buy. Tell them you heard about the special on WOCA and save $20. But hurry in, this is a limited time offer.
In racing, there is no greater feeling. There is no greater history. There is no greater tradition than the Daytona 500. And this February 18th, there is no greater place to be as the Great American Race celebrates its 60th running. Last year sold out, so there is no greater time than now to guarantee your seats. Join us for the history-making 60th running of the Daytona 500. Sunday, February 18th. Guarantee your seats at 1-800-PIT-SHOP or Daytona500.com.
Come to the 5th Annual Habitat for Humanity Strawberry Festival on March 3rd, 2018 at the McPherson Government Complex. The festival goal is not only to have vendors, food, a car show, a kids zone, wag, wiggle, and walk, live entertainment on the main stage, a down-home pie-eating contest, and all things strawberry, but to also raise funds to build a habitat home for a family in our community. Check out their website, habitatocala.org, and follow the link. The Habitat for Humanity Strawberry Festival is March 3rd from 8 to 6 p.m. Come early and enjoy the day.
In this moment, who has your back? Do you know the name of your insurance agent? Does your agent know your name? Or would you call a 1-800 number that connects you to who? Another state? Another country? Get a local independent insurance agent with Auto Owners Insurance. Someone you can call when bad stuff happens. In this moment, get an agent who will protect you in that moment. Visit George Mangan Insurance in Ocala today at manganinsurance.com.
Zydeco kind of a morning because of Mardi Gras. If it wasn't for that music, I wouldn't even remember it was Mardi Gras today, I don't think. It's just we don't really do it here, do we? It's just something that's in the news.
It's in the news. I mean, I guess, like I said, Leesburg had one. I think Disney does their, or Universal Studios.
That's
usually
right.
Does
They do one.
Their one. It's just it's a New Orleans thing.
It's a what?
A New Orleans thing.
A New Orleans. That's how you say it?
New Orleans.
Do you know when I first started doing?
Not New Orleans.
Well, hold on a minute. When I first started doing, wait, do you remember the song? There is a house.
Yes.
In New Orleans.
Yeah.
Well, he said it wrong then, apparently.
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's in order for the song to have run.
So when I first started doing this job, I would say New Orleans, and then people call up. It's not New Orleans. It's New Orleans.
New Orleans.
New Orleans. And then somebody says, it's not New Orleans. It's New Orleans. It's like, holy mackerel! How many?
Hey, just try to say Alachua. Is it Alachua or Alachua?
No, here's what I heard about that. I heard that the county is Alachua.
And the city is Alachua.
Yes, is that true?
They're spelled the same.
I know, but is that true?
I think it's more of a to differentiate, and the people of the city of Alachua wished to designate themselves as something where it would be differentiated. Yeah, but so it's all cool.
It's all cool.
It's all cool. It's all good. It's all just chill, people. Just chill. Just one of those kind of days. What do we got coming up is a whole lots of different stuff. Of course, the Master Gardener Spring Festival is upcoming March the 10th and 11th, 8 to 5, 9 to 4, respectively. And we're touting it as at our new venue. We'll be actually at the Livestock Pavilion. So it sounds to me that we may be a little more sprawled out than previous years, but more shade for the vendor area. $2 admission, 12 and under are free. True service animals only, please. It's for their safety as well as the safety and well-being of the public.
Yes.
There's still the kids zone gardening. There'll be garden decor, the food trucks. We've usually have some pretty good food out there because that's one thing. Master gardeners and food go hand in hand. We have a tendency to like to eat.
Yes, we do.
And
Every day.
it shows. And it's funny at work. Every time I take a lunch, they always ask, they actually let you eat? It's like, sometimes, parking will be closer to the main venue, I guess is the biggest thing is what they were trying to do. And so this is all part of the surveys that you do when you attend this event. Anytime you're at a speaker's event, you sit in for a demonstration or you sit in for what am I saying?
Were you distracted?
One of the presentations. No, my brain just for one of the presentations. We always ask. We have a survey at the end of that. How do we do? Please rate us and give us your input of what you would like to see in the future. That's the only way that we can improve. And this year, looks like we've got a whole lot of different things other than the common, the usual pest control and micro irrigation and things like that. Bird and butterfly gardens, but we've got things on orchids this year and growing tomatoes. Okay, here we go back to the tomato thing. How to grow tomatoes here in Central Florida. What are the best varieties? What's the best planting times? What's
tomatoes
the best fertilizers?
Tomatoes are really important, aren't they?
Tomatoes, hey, there is nothing better. I mean, we put tomato on everything. You've got salsa, you've got a BLT, you've got just a tomato sandwich on white bread with mayonnaise, kind of thing. And,
I always get the tomato, except if I'm at the drive-thru. I always say no tomatoes. You know why?
Because you wear them on the front of your shirt.
And it'll drip down your arm.
Yeah, I always do the tomato, though. Gotta have the tomato. We put them on hamburgers. We put them in, do the caprese tomatoes with mozzarella.
What?
And, to make the
Italian came out of you right there, huh?
Yeah, which I don't have any. Well, with and that, it's just a wonderful little side dish kind of things. We love our tomatoes, I guess is what it is. And they are very good for us, So we got, there's, on growing the tomatoes, bamboo for your Florida garden. That's something different for us. African violets. Now, that's a very small kind of thing. And very limited, possible interest, but it's one of those kind of things. And it's funny if I know we only got a couple minutes. Just a little bit of a nostalgia kind of thing. Did you ever have something? 7 minutes.
We got 7.
7 minutes? All right.
That's a big
Did you ever see something and it took you back, years? And it just, and you see this thing frequently, but suddenly there's a a thing that just triggers a nostalgia. Well, what happened to me was a couple weeks ago. I mean, I see African violets all the time. But I finished a tub of Cool Whip. What does Cool Whip and African violets go together?
Right.
It doesn't normally, except that when I was a child, one of my best friends was getting ready to move away. Her dad was a Marine, so they traveled often. And her mom couldn't take her plants with her, but she could take the pots. So she was taking plants out of pots and giving them away. Well, this African violet I acquired lived in a Cool Whip tub for years.
Oh, wow.
And bloomed like crazy. So yes, my Cool Whip tub was washed out. It will get some holes in the bottom of it, and I got an African violet, and it's going to live in the Cool Whip tub.
Oh, nice.
So hopefully I don't kill it, because as a child it was ignored. It got watered when it had to be, and bloomed prolifically.
Isn't that something?
But it was just one of those weird little things that had triggered up nostalgia. And we're talking 4th grade.
Yeah.
So I was what? 9 years old.
See, that is cool. I love stories like that.
Just those little weird things. But so you think about your African violets. Maybe you'll have a nostalgic type thing coming on. But there's also some information on becoming a master gardener going to go on as well. And we talk about it more and more as we get closer, as we always do. Coming up this month within the Master Gardener outreach to the community, we have on the 16th, the Bellevue, the Master Gardeners are at the Bellevue Library from 10 to 1 p.m. The 20th from 2 to 3 at the Dunellen Library for talking about palms for Central Florida. And some of you may have lost or burned some queen palms or some robolinis. So if you're interested in having palms in your landscape, you might want to venture over to the Dunellen Library for that, for 2 to 3 on the 20th, to learn about palms that might be a little more cold hardy. And then coming up on the 21st from 10 to 11:30 is out on Top of the World, the Master the Possibilities Education Center. They are talking about it's a wild horticulture series and migrating birds, and that Florida is home to more than 500 species of birds. Many of these species are migratory birds that make Florida their winter home. So if you're interested in either providing habitat in your landscape or just you're interested in birds, that kind of thing, and the migrating birds here within Florida. Mark your calendar, February the 21st from 10 to 11:30 out on the Top of the World, the Master the Possibilities Education Center. So, and for any other information on these kind of things, if you need to sign up in advance or anything, call over to Extension at 671-8400, and they will gladly give you some more information.
Very good. Lots of stuff to do.
Lots of stuff
and
to do.
I would imagine that your counterpart in Minnesota, where it's cold, doesn't do this show for another couple of months.
Right. If anything, they might be talking, if they even run a program on a year-round basis, I'm not sure. But yeah, we talk to people who come into the store daily, and especially like right now, they're going, I've just become a Floridian. I've just moved here. I'm now a year-round resident, and this is all foreign. Get prepared to learn. It will be a series of trials and errors. Talk to your neighbors. Contact the Master Gardeners in your area, the county extension office, and things like that. And And for me, I always tell them, feel free to come in and ask a question. Of course, then again, they all now know my name and call. They need to talk to Carol Ann. They need to talk to Carol Ann every time. So that's all right now. Love my customers.
Well, you're the go-to gal.
Love my customers.
For that information. So an off-topic topic. Do you know how to tell? Do you know the chocolate code? Like if you get chocolate?
Yeah, I heard you too, and I had seen something about that. I'm now going to have to look at a box of chocolates and see, because I have.
You heard about the little S and the little P?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I've ever seen the S's and P's and O's, but I know that the diagonal line and the zigzag back and forth were all.
I didn't know.
Did mean so. I think I saw something on PBS about chocolatiers, and it might have been when you're around.
But the thing, the thing I wonder is this true? I thought these things were made in factories.
Oh, they are, but the machines can do those.
The machine knows how to put a little.
Yeah. It's all digital. It's all programmable.
Wow.
Just like sewing machines that can put monograms on clothing.
Well, that is interesting.
It's all programmable. So
do you have the same etiquette as far as if you check it with visually, like you open it up?
You look at it, and as Galen said, you look. If it's a Whitman's, you just open up the box and you look, and you can see what it is. But otherwise, it's just hey, unless you're allergic to something, you don't worry about it.
But if you bite into it and it's not what you want. No,
you either offer it to whoever's standing next to you. Do you want this? I don't like that kind.
All right.
So.
Oh my gosh, we're out of time.
Are we out of time?
I think this was the fastest show ever. Is that possible?
It's possible. This fastest 1 hour on radio. We always have a good time, and that's the reason why.
Thank you for what you do, Carolyn.
My pleasure.
One of my favorite parts of this broadcast week is when you come in here and do the radio show.
We have a little bit of fun.
And I think I need to do something with the tree. It's just stymied. It's not getting bigger at all.
Needs a little. Needs to probably go outside.
Kevin said a bigger pot. You disagree?
I don't think so. No, because it's going to look tiny in a bigger pot.
That's okay. All right. Thank you, Carolyn.
All right, Larry. Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Fox News Radio. I'm Lillian Wu. One of the biggest hearings of the year for the U.S. Intelligence Committee kicking off this morning.
It brings together the leadership of 6 different agencies to testify publicly and to help Congress set the budget priorities. So we're talking about Al-Qaeda. We're talking about ISIS. We're also talking about something called the gray zone. This is the battle space between peace and conventional warfare.
Fox's Catherine Herridge says the Senate Intelligence Committee hopes to make public initial findings on the Russia election interference investigation.
Think to things like the DNC and the Podesta emails, how they were dispersed, the use of bots. What it will not be looking at is the allegations of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russian officials.
And the British government unveiling new technology to remove extremist material from social media using a machine learning to analyze the sound and visual components of videos. Fox News, we report, you decide.
When you're hiring, you don't want to sort through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Daryl has hired with Indeed.
Nothing has been this simple, this easy, and this effective.
Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire.